inbuilt synergy into their team composition. They work well together. You can have smaller groups of champions, 2s and 3s, that are going to do well. On the side of Elements, Shook is going to be completely reliant on his own boots and
their first win at the end of last week. This is going to be a tough one. We'll see if they can fight off the Elements. But now you've seen their lineups. Let us know who you think is going to come out ahead. Go ahead and tweet us at LOL Esports using the hashtag MYMWin or ELWin, and we'll check on the results in just a minute.
Season 2, CLGEU actually. Oh, I think Corey, if he gets caught, he's in trouble.
What a coincidence. There we go. Corey now. Charm is on. Wait a minute, though. Here comes Shook, and that's first blood going over to Froggen. So scratch what we said, because there was an opportunity. Change that one. Wicked. Close to wandering in. Also Shook, though, popped on the hunt. Looking for Corey. Jumped down. Instant bullet, and they've got him locked up and take him down yet again.
That was so well executed. Shook
might be able to secure that one, as the top lane turret will get taken by Elements. Dragon already about half health, so it looks like we'll see an objective trade.
So I actually quite like this, because if Elements wanted to start Dragon fights, it's very difficult and very scary against the Jarvan in the entirety of this game. And even with Horo trying to gank, it hasn't worked out. But yep, Froggen, he wants Horo.
Yep, he's going to get the Frozen Tomb lock up there. Here comes Shook, and they will get Froggen a killing spree for this one. Can he get out as the exhaust is thrown down? Nisbeth trying to make a play. Shook picks up Corey in all of that as well. A 2-for-0 over to Elements, and use.
If Froggen gets here quickly enough, they're going to engage.
Yeah,
the fish is available, and MeetYourMakers, they're in trouble.
Oh, they scouted the wrong direction too. Mimer's going to be the jumped on target, throws down his equalizer, but all for naught. They want to do. Nif, though, is going to run headlong into it. Reckless, though, he's in some trouble as well. It's a 2-for-2 so far, and there's nobody there to save them. They go a little bit too early. Nif
It's how they start fights, and there goes Froggen.
Yep, he's going to go forward, flash forward, Frozen Tomb. Mimer's the chosen target. Down he goes, launching the equalizer, but everyone else from MYM immediately bail out of that, and that's going to be the start of the Dragon for Elements.
Yeah, and Elements are going to get this one uncontested. Whenever a fight is going to begin, Froggen or Shook throw down their flash, their glacial path, and they root a target in place, stun a target, get him locked down. And Elements haven't given up. They can also go for a tower dive because of the invulnerability that Froggen can give himself and the tankiness of Nah.
Here we go, they jump on him. Where are the health bars of MYM going? That's already Corey, Rowless, Nisbeth all down in the blink of an eye, and Elements just like that, pushing in.
For the first time in 2015, Elements is performing to the level that they were expected to perform. This is decisive, it is clinical, it is clean. That tower dive was perfectly executed, and it has allowed Elements to take a 21.5-minute inhibitor.
Very, very early in hit for a team. Oh, well, they don't get it. Come on, guys, you gotta finish it up. There we go, don't pat yourself.
Elements are gonna take an uncontested Dragon because MYM simply cannot pick a fight.
They don't even need to have all their members involved in it. Yeah, they send Braum back to the fountain there, go ahead and pick themselves up a second.
Stick around at this tower. Elements can simply just rinse and repeat their dives.
Yep, there we go though. Froggen is gonna be targeted down. Nice tombs himself, and MYM trying to run in and save the day, but all they get for it is a dead Nisbeth. And the siege, source of AD that they just cannot simply touch at this point. Inhibitor comes back up, but Shook already jumping on Rallis. There's no one there to defend him. They've got the stun down. Nisbeth now turning the fight on him. That tower is barely poking him down. It finds Shook finally, and maybe they can turn this one around. Big shutdown. Horo, they're coming up with a little bit more damage, but Reckless says no, thank you very much. It is a 3-for-2 as Wicked's Megan.
And he's just gonna chill. Hashtag awesome.
So there we go. Finds Rallis, has to back away immediately. Actually, they throw down the Cataclysm and try and push him away from the Nisbeth, trying to front line, but he's not as tanky as he thinks. He goes down to Shook Corey, going for the assassination, pushed all the way back. Mimer gets his Zanyas on. Horo and Corey both a little bit low, Nip in the front. This inhibitor should go down in just a moment, but Elements deciding if they want to try to continue the fight first and poking it down. Not quite yet, actually. There it goes. Thank you, Reckless.
Reckless took so much time playing it safe there. He was dancing around the outskirts of the fight. Froggen actually peeled.
Looks like that time Reckless took the second option, but Elements still, they have the leisure to be able to keep doing this one. Nisbeth, they've found him so many times. He's generally been the sacrificial lamb for MYM, but this time he's just caught out and hunted down. Froggen picking up his 5th kill of the game. Now unstoppable.
Is impossible because it's not
cool
there.
Name.
So Elements should be able to secure this inhibitor if they stick around. But again, look how safe they're playing. They're not risking getting caught out.
A little wishy-washy, and you did mention that they have some... Whoa, we'll have to talk about that in a minute. Rales nearly going down. There he goes. Froggen, Zanya's on. Big Gnar, Wicked trying to make the fight happen for his team, and it looks like they will be able to do. MYMers still sticking around. Nisbeth comes back up and goes back down. It's a double kill. Going over to Reckless. They've grabbed the inhibitor, and they're going to back away.
Because nobody from MeetYourMakers can get through that very aggressive diving team of Elements.
Yep. Dragon will be secured. Actually secured by Nif. Shook a little. This inner turret on the bottom side. Corey trying to go in. Dashes right into Froggen, and he actually dashes just out of the Frozen Tomb, but Reckless is still going to pick a kill onto MYMer while Rowles is away. The Elements will play, and they should be a little bit low despite his tankiness, but they just can't check into this team, and inhibitors dropped once again.
That was an insta QSS from Corey. Really good reaction time. I think the root actually did land from Shook, but Corey insta got away. Doesn't matter. Super minions pouring through. Elements are going to focus down the Nexus turrets and then the Nexus. This is the final push.
Yeah, they're going to try to jump onto Nif as well, but Wicked is distracting the entire backline. Froggen picks up yet another kill. They've found Horo. They found the whole team. They finally found the win. 35 minutes in. Elements pick up number 4.
Very little to add except domination from the laning phase, from the ganks. Even from the doubts of Rengar not having assistance, you know, other teams have not pulled it off. Elements did. That is the best play we've seen from them individually and from their team in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, I think it's really hard to fault them in that case. Still playing a little bit safe, probably overly so when they were so far in the lead, but we've seen them do this against any number of opponents, and it worked out just fine for them this time around. 35-minute victory.
I would say yes when it comes to pushing the inhibitors. You know, that team fight that we replayed of sort of Reckless diving in and out, I would say maybe they could have focused an objective of the champions a little more. But up until the inhibitor turrets, they tower dove ruthlessly. They forced fights ruthlessly. And if I were SK Gaming watching this match, I'd be nervous tomorrow because this is a scary looking Elements. And Elements versus SK to end the day tomorrow is really going to show off who is deserving to be at the top of this table.
Absolutely. After a win like that, you definitely got to start sweating it a little bit if you're the upcoming opponents. But on the other side, MeetYourMakers, no smiles there as they get ready to pack up. You do not want to start 1-4. And Corey coming back into this one, he did play individually, not terribly. He was camped out immensely, never really given a chance, but he fell far behind Froggen, and they never got a chance back into this game.
If there was ever a time to gank and camp mid lane, it was when Corey had left the team and came back. I think not only did Elements have a good strategy and a good direction with their team comp and individual play, despite the lack of synergy, they realized camp Corey, try to get him to tilt, try to get him to doubt himself, and he won't impact the game. And that's what happened. Shook came in for repeated ganks with that Glacial Path from Froggen. They shut him down for 2 easy kills and never looked back.
Yeah, and you know, credit to Corey for really trying to save the game when it was pretty much very, very far behind there. He was able to still have those really insane mechanics. You mentioned a couple of really clutch QSS usages, but it was just so far behind. It's hard to come back into that game. And you know, nobody on MYM went positive. They didn't play terrible individually. They just never got together as a team. And everyone on Elements stepped up big. I think, honestly, even though he's been doing his job, Wicked had a monster Gnar performance, and he was unkilled this game.
Yeah, you know, MYM just faltered. I think individually they just really did not show up today, and it is unfortunate, it is the nature of the beast, because they were outclassed in the laning phase. Elements came out of that laning phase with such a huge lead. They had CS advantages top and bottom. They had kill and CS advantage in middle. Despite giving up the first dragon, they went, we don't care, we'll take a tower. 3 minutes later, we'll take another tower. And they just snowballed their advantages, one after the other. We talked about how both of these teams have to reel and come back from Corey coming back into the roster and from Reckless having some choice words. Elements seem to be doing well. MYM need work. And I'm very, very excited to see how Elements do against SK tomorrow.
Yeah, SK, you know, they made their statement earlier, and of course now Elements have made theirs. I'm really looking forward to that last game tomorrow as well. It's going to be a pretty big one, but for this matchup, for the way that went down, where does MYM go from here? Because they're definitely in some trouble this split.
So for MeetYourMakers from here, it is actually the same story as week 1 and 2. They've got Corey back, but they've been playing without him. They need to figure out how do we relearn how to play with this guy. How do I play with a teammate who did actually leave and has now come back. So they need to get more practice, more scrims. Unfortunately, they've got much less games and much less time to do it. But the trick for them is just to log the hours, log the scrims, and get that synergy and teamwork back.
I think that's definitely the best strat for them to go forward. But